we're just going to sit because we're wearing fancy shoes.
We didn't get a clicker.
I don't know.
We didn't get a clicker.
Clicker?
Clicker. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, hi everyone. Just wanted to say thank you to OMMA for giving us the opportunity to speak here today. So let's start with what is HBO Home Entertainment. We basically distribute all of our HBO programming across different platforms, from standard definition DVD to Blu-ray definition DVD, and also what we call digital downloads. So basically that's the ability to buy episodically either on iTunes or Microsoft PlayStation and many other platforms that are similar. Because all of you, I presume, come from different backgrounds and are not intimately familiar with the DVD category, I just want to give you an overview of the category, and then we'll go deeper, no pun intended, into our True Blood Dig Deeper campaign. So in the last few years, the DVD category is going through tremendous change. From a new format perspective, as I just mentioned, we're in Blu-ray format. That was a new format that was introduced about 3-4 years ago. Digital downloads, and then also from a rental versus sell-through model perspective, it used to be a rental model way back. If you guys are old enough to remember, 15 years ago, if you went to Blockbuster and rented a VHS, and God forbid you lost that VHS, to take it back, it would cost you, or to go back to Blockbuster, they charge you something like $400 or whatever it is. So it went from that to a sell-through DVD model. And now it's shifting again to sell-through is still very much part of the business, but the rental model has shifted, and now you can find rental DVDs at your supermarket through Redbox and a whole host of other options. So that's been a change. There's also just a rapid change in terms of the whole retail environment. So there's been a rapid decline of retailers. In the last 2 years, we've seen Circuit City close, Borders closed recently, and Blockbuster, downsizing of stores like GameStop and FYE, who are all carriers of DVDs or distributors of DVDs. So if you're looking at just within the last 2 years, all of those store closings, we're looking at about 4,000 storefronts that have literally closed, and obviously that has also had a great impact on the DVD industry. So all told, consumer spending in what we call the physical DVD space has been down by about $1 billion every single year. So the category is estimated to be about $10 billion this year. And then the TV sector of that business also continues to decline. But all is not bad in a mature category, particularly when you have the opportunity to work on one of the greatest TV franchises like True Blood. True Blood is a great, tremendous franchise. It's one of the highest rated shows on our network. It has the greatest number of fans across multiple digital platforms. We have just half of Justin Bieber's friends on Facebook. We have about 9 million friends on Facebook. We have 300,000 Twitter followers, and I hope I get this right. True Blood is the #1 checked into show in Get Glue TV history. So we had about 800,000 check-ins. HBO.com had about 9 million site visits and near 13 million video views of True Blood Season 4. And then on YouTube, the True Blood videos have been viewed at least 6 million times this past season. So not only are the True Blood fans really engaged with their time, but they're also really engaged with their wallets. I also oversee our licensing business, and I can tell you that True Blood is one of our top licensed franchises. We've sold millions of t-shirts throughout the world. At our own shop, 60% of our sales comprise of True Blood sales. The True Blood drink, for those of you who don't know, it's actually a real drink. Thankfully not made out of blood, but made out of blood orange soda, which, by the way, tastes better with a little vodka in it. At $3.99, a bottle is certainly a premium priced beverage, but we've shipped nearly 2 million bottles throughout the world now, and it's only been in introduction for a little over 2 years. So given all the successes, it's not surprising that True Blood is also a very successful franchise on DVD. When we released the first season 2 years ago and season 2 last year, both of them debuted at #1 in terms of top sales, TV on DVD sales, and it continues to be in the top 20. So even with all of its successes, however, there are some challenges, and as we were getting ready to release season 3 of True Blood on DVD, we came across several challenges. First was, how do you continue to engage an audience in its now 3rd season on DVD? Also, from a release timing perspective, we tend to release our titles about a year after that season airs and right before the next season airs. So how do you generate excitement for a storyline and a plot line that's already revealed, that had already been revealed about a year ago? The other challenge is, again, because of how we time our releases, how do we differentiate the advertising that is for the 3rd season of DVD against the advertising that's on for the new season that's coming on the network? And then lastly, how do you message to two somewhat diametrically opposed audiences? You have the super fan who is extremely engaged, is an HBO subscriber, has watched True Blood on demand, linearly, on go, has probably downloaded via iTunes, has bought the DVD, and then the other opposite audience is someone who's not even a subscriber of HBO. So thankfully, I didn't have to deal with any of these challenges because this summer I went on maternity leave. And, and we partner with one of the best agencies in the world, and that's BBDO. And with that, I will introduce you to DeVeaux, who's going to speak to our True Blood Dig Deeper campaign. And in the meantime, I forgot to use the clicker. And I need to fast. That is not my child, by the way. So I will fast forward through some of it. Oh, sorry. Oh, here we go.
Okay. So as Sofia mentioned, the DVD marketing has a whole set of challenges. And in addition to the ones she mentioned, there's some that we kind of think of on our end as well. Really, most importantly, are the fans. The True Blood franchise has extremely rabid fans. As Sofia showed some of the pictures of them, I mean, these folks are crazy, right? So they love the show, they're super into the show, and devour, some literally, any and everything about the show, including the marketing. They have really high expectations for the show as well as the marketing of the show. And not to say that we had, performance anxiety, but there's a little bit of performance anxiety. You have really high expectations, and we know we always have to bring our A game. And that's how we approached season 3. This was the 2nd True Blood campaign that we've done for the home entertainment group. And a lot of the people in my group are True Blood fans, or Truebies as we call them, ourselves. And so particularly for the women on the show, or the women in my group, any kind of True Blood campaign starts in the same place every single year, and that's here. Okay? Everyone is excited about Eric. Every campaign that we produce, we always had one in the mix that needed him personally to come to a shoot for some reason. But seriously, we spend a lot of time before we even get into creative development rewatching the show. All 12 hours, everyone on the team, a lot of times kind of grouped in, huddled into my office or watching on other platforms, and then sitting around and discussing it. And this really wasn't any different. We all watched together, and then we all talked about the season. And what we found was that this season in particular was extremely layered. And season 1 and season 2 I think were the same, but this was a little different. It was more complicated. There were many more characters. There were a lot of different storylines. There were a lot of plot lines that were connected and backstories that were finally revealed, and it was just a hot mess. And so we were sitting there and talking, and we're like, well, didn't that happen? It's like, no, that didn't happen. And people began to challenge each other and to really determine who was the biggest True Blood fan. And what we noticed was that was also happening online. A lot of our pre-work is spent looking at, I mean, Sofia went through all of the activity on the social platforms, and a lot of our pre-work is spent going through the Facebook page, going through the various Twitter feeds, the Get Glue activity. And we see that that conversation that we were having internally, a lot of the people on these platforms were also having. You find truebies helping newbies, indoctrinating newbies into the season, answering questions that people have about the season. As Sofia mentioned, season 4 was just about to start, and so a lot of people were interested in catching up on season 3, and so there was a lot of conversation happening about season 3, and all of that went into the brief. And what we found was that we found an interesting insight, and that insight was that real True Blood love is in the details. So if you know the details, then that is kind of your badge of honor as a True Blood fan. But before we could take that insight to our creative teams, we also had to think about platforms. And True Blood, definitely, we knew we were going to be advertising on TV, not so much because it's a TV product, but really because it was, we needed quick awareness. And when you're marketing a product where first week sales count, you need a quick awareness boost immediately, and so TV was a must. But in addition to TV, we knew our audience was in other places. Again, like Sofia mentioned, we have 9 million people on Facebook, 300,000 people on Twitter, 800,000 check-ins in Get Glue. These people are active on social platforms, and so social platforms had to be a big part of what we did. And the way we brief at BBDO is we don't just answer the typical questions of what do we want them, what are they currently doing, what do we want them to do, what's the insight, but particularly when social is involved, which almost always it is at this point, we ask another question, and that is, what's the conversation we want to create? How do we want people talking about our brand, our product on these social platforms? And so what we'd thought about here was that we don't just want people declaring their love for the show. They're already doing that across these platforms. We want them to prove their love, and we want them to use the DVD as the mechanism to prove their love for the show. And so what our amazing creative team, and I promised them I would shout them out, of Rick Williams and Marcel Eunice came up with was a program that we call Dig Deeper. And that's what we're here to talk to you about today. The Dig Deeper campaign was a challenge to truebies and newbies alike. As Sofia mentioned, we had to we had to speak to super fans, but also to people who were maybe new to the show, people who are non-subscribers to HBO. And this challenge was to watch and rewatch the season through the DVD, as well as the DVD extras, because the more they watched, the more they noticed. And we have a little video here to tell you a little bit more about the program.
You may think you've seen True Blood Season 3, but do you remember everything?
To promote the True Blood Season 3 DVD and Blu-ray launch, we challenged True Blood's rabid fan base to prove just how much they recall. Introducing Dig Deeper, an interactive film experience that's meant to be watched and rewatched, to show True Blood fans that just like Season 3, the more you look, the more you notice. Here's how it works. The host of our TV spot asks whether fans caught all the details in True Blood Season 3. But if the audience looks more closely, they'll start to notice that artifacts, props, even characters from Season 3 have been embedded throughout the film. It leads people to hbo.com/digdeeper, where they'll find a custom interactive player that allows fans to zoom deep into the film, exploring the footage frame by frame. Then, the hunt is on for 60 taggable Season 3 clues. To tag each clue, fans must answer a question proving they know what it is. The more clues they tag, the more badges they earn that post directly to Facebook, elevating their fan status. Some clues are easy to get, some super obscure. This way, just about any newbie can play, but only the hardcore Truebies can win. The result? Hundreds of thousands of Truebies began putting their fandom to the test, unlocking badges and updates to Facebook and Twitter, to tout their progress, to brag, to start a conversation. Fans began creating cheat sites, trading answers, reposting, cheering, competing, and all the while, they're watching and rewatching a commercial. Fans spent an average of 23 minutes poring over the Dig Deeper film. digital experience, film, game, sweepstakes, social currency. It didn't just sell millions of DVDs, it brought fans together to prove just how well they know their True Blood. True Blood Dig Deeper.
So like any multi-platform program, like the other two case studies that were presented today and anything else I've ever worked on, and I'm sure that you guys have worked on, it's a group effort. So beyond the folks at BBDO and the great team that I get to work with every day, we worked with a lot of other people and agencies that you guys may know. So I thought it would be worthwhile just mentioning kind of them and their contributions to this effort. First and foremost, Be Real developed this online experience, and we think did a fantastic job. It was a pleasure working with them, and we worked with them on a couple of different things. And we brought them in really early on, and that's how we've been working, at least for the last 4 years since I've been on this brand, is bringing in key partners from the outset and then working to build a program with them together. So they came in very early, worked with our creative team, worked with our digital production team, as well as attended the shoot and worked with a brilliant director, Tim Godsall, and his team. Then, of course, we had our family and partners at HBO who really challenged us to ensure that we had, all 60 clues worked for both sides of our fan base. That was really challenging for the Truebies, but also very accessible for our newbies or our new fans. And then we even had the people from the True Blood production team, the prop masters, the makeup artists, the wardrobe stylists, give us ideas and thoughts on clues. So this was it was a huge group effort to create this kind of multi-platform fan experience that we think really worked to drive conversation around not just the show, but more importantly, the release of the show on DVD. And so I'll turn it over to Sofia to tell you a little bit about some of the results.
Well, as you saw through the video, the results were fantastic from the Dig Deeper campaign, but more importantly, from our perspective, is how did it result in terms of DVD sales. Season 3, True Blood, sold through 550,000 units, and if you add also the sales of Season 1 and Season 2, just in 2011 alone, we've sold through over 1 million units. I believe it was Season 3 was #1, is still #1 on the TV DVD list, and then Season 2 and Season 1 are number 11 and number 15 respectively. So we had a great year. We look forward to Season 4 on DVD next year, and it's not free shipping like our friends at Zappos provided, but we want all of you guys to become newbie fans of True Blood if you aren't already. So I think somewhere we've provided Season 3 True Blood on DVD. I believe they're around here, around the table or somewhere. So feel free to take a copy and enjoy.
Thank you.
Thanks.